Hello, hello, hello. I wanted to talk to you today a bit about stress. It seemed like a really appropriate topic for this group based on the name of the group. And I will tell you a little bit at the end about how some things are shifting in this group as well. So, when it comes to stress, this is something that a lot of the times recently I've seen it as causing a problem for a lot of the clients that I work with. And this can come to us from three different types, which is something that we often don't realize. Like when you think of stress, I'll ask a client that comes to me, "How is your stress?" And the response is typically like, "Oh, well, it's not that bad. I'm managing it." And the thing is, our bodies can only manage so much. And a lot of the times we get used to it because it's something we've been dealing with for a while, or it gradually increases. So we don't really notice the impact it's having on our nervous system. But if the body's constantly in fight or flight mode, it's constantly going to be in fat storage mode. So if you're looking to lose weight, if you're looking to improve your health as well, constantly being in a state of stress is not going to be beneficial for that sort of goal. And stress comes at us from three different types. So we think of stress, and a lot of the times we think of emotional stuff. So maybe it was an argument with your spouse, maybe it was an email from your boss, maybe it's stress around work, but most of these are emotional related stresses. And that is one of the three areas for sure. But then we also have physical stress, which could be, do you fall asleep on the couch? That's somewhere we don't often think of as stress, but that's stress on the body. Have you been in an accident? A car accident, maybe, or been injured in some way? That's stress on the body. The body has to now repair and heal and put things back together. Working out is stress on the body as well. Any CrossFitters? That was me in the past. And I used to put my body under an insane amount of stress all the time. And then I couldn't figure out why. I was working out like crazy. I was eating like really clean, but not really enough potentially. And I couldn't figure out why I couldn't lose weight. I thought the whole calories in, calories out. I mean, that's what everyone talks about, right? But that's going to be stress on the body if you're working out, especially if, you're making yourself get up in the morning early to go work out rather than getting extra sleep. Or if you're pushing yourself to the point where you're exhausted at the end of the workout. Or if you're working out, 6 days a week, 5 days a week, it's pushing your body to the point where the stress can be too much and the system starts to shut down. When we're under stress that long, that intense, especially like the workout is a good example of that because it's very high intensity, this is going to cause cortisol to be driven up. That's our stress hormone for a really long time. And when cortisol is high for a long time, that puts us into a state of inflammation, which is also going to make it much harder for us to get to any results when it comes to weight loss or when it comes to anything health related. Other physical areas of stress can be not getting enough sleep. So, as I said, when I was going to school for nutrition, I thought I still have to get my workouts in. So, I would wake up in the morning at 4 o'clock and I would study, and then I would go work out, and then I would go to school, and then I would come home. I would have been much better to have slept that extra hour than to get up the extra hour earlier so that I could go work out. Because not getting enough sleep is another form of stress on your body as well. So now you've got stress on your body from not getting enough sleep, and then more stress from the workout, which isn't going to benefit you in the long run, I promise. Not enough food. So this is where, the calories in, calories out way of looking at things can be a problem because it's telling people you need to exercise more and you need to eat less. And that's stress and stress on the body. And so if cortisol, again, is high all the time, you're going to be in fat storage mode. You're going to be in survival mode. Your body's not looking to let go of anything. It's looking to keep you alive and keep you safe. And then the last example I have for physical stress is repetitive motion. Can you see my... If you spend a lot of time on your phone, scrolling, if you're on the computer all day long and you're typing on a keyboard all day long, if you're doing any sort of work that's the same motion over and over and over again, that's going to be stress on the body. The next category of stress is chemical stress, which is another one that we often don't think about. And where do we come in contact with chemicals? There's a lot of different ways that this is in our lives as well. So there's chemicals in our water. If you're drinking tap water, especially Brita water as well, there's going to be chlorine in here. They have to put it in here. If they didn't, our water would kill us. However, the chlorine is going to impact our thyroid and going to disrupt other hormones as well. So, chemicals in our water is one place we come into contact with chemicals. There's chemicals in our food as well. If you're eating non-organic foods, even organic foods, there can be traces of chemicals in there depending on how they're handled once they're brought into the stores. But chemicals in our foods, if you're eating non-organic foods, there's going to be pesticides because the farmers need to, increase the yield of the crops that they're growing, and increase production. So there's going to be chemicals in your foods. Cleaning chemicals is another area where we come in contact with chemicals. Bleach, I just talked about chlorine having an impact on thyroid. Bleach is chlorine, so that's another area. And then there's lots of fragrances and a lot of the chemicals too. If you think of even dish soap, I know, my spouse has an app where you can scan things and see, is this clean or is this not? I think Dirty, I think it's called. And it's a good way to take a look and see, are these cleaning products that I'm using, are these things that are clean or are they full of chemicals? Our air can have chemicals in it as well. Hand sanitizer, that's going to have a really hard time on your microbiome because sanitizer is designed to kill bacteria. And when it gets on our hands, inevitably it ends up inside of us in our stomachs, and it's going to cause an imbalance in our biome in our stomach. And we also have a biome on our skin. A lot of people don't realize that. We have a microbiome on our skin that's very important to keep imbalanced, for overall health and for skin health for sure as well. And then artificial dyes and pesticides are other areas we come in contact with chemical stress on the body. Emotional stress is one that typically people can appreciate. So this could be work stress, spouse stress, kid stress, pet stress. We've had 2.5 years that have been pretty crazy world events, and that's puts stress on us as well. And so it's not just about having stress from a few areas. It's the compilation. It's when we have so many things compiled on top of each other. This is often when the body is like, I can't deal with it. And symptoms start to present themselves. And when symptoms start to present themselves, this is the body saying, I need your help. There's something going on, something's not balanced, and I need your support. And so when we test people, using quantum nutrition testing to figure out why they're having the symptoms that they're having, a lot of the time stress is one of the things that can come up for people. There are other things as well, but this is where it's helpful to be able to test. Because if we're just guessing and saying, okay, so, my thyroid is not working properly, I want to ask why. Why is it not working properly? Because to just take a look at it and just start putting band-aids on top of it and saying, okay, so, I'm gonna take some iodine or I'm gonna do different things without figuring out why it's not working properly, you're not actually going to resolve the problem. This is the experience I had in the past too. Even going to nutrition school, I've been 2 years in college for nutrition, and we talked about symptoms and we talked about treating the cause, but we never talked about figuring out what the cause actually was. We had a compilation of symptoms that were, if you were cold all the time, if your hair was falling out, if you were gaining weight, okay, those tell us that you probably have thyroid problems. So we're going to give you supplements. We're going to give you foods. Sorry, my dog's under the desk. We're going to give you foods to support your thyroid. But what if that's not the problem? What if it's toxins? What if it's chemicals that are causing the problem? What if it's stress that's causing the problem? What if it's pesticides that are causing the problem? This is where it's really beneficial to, work with me and do some quantum testing. I test your body from head to toe, every organ and gland, to figure out what is working well in the body and what's not. Because when we figure out what's not, then we're able to put together a plan just for you to help get your body back into balance. So what does stress do on the body? We've got these 3 types of stress. We've got physical, chemical, and emotional, all of which piles up and becomes at times too much for the system to handle. And this is where, this is going to cause problems for the body, and it's going to burn up our B vitamins, is a really big problem that a lot of stress can do. And our B vitamins are important for a lot of processes in our system. It's important for serotonin, so your happy hormone. It's important for the production of melatonin, which is your sleep hormone. It's important for digestion. It's important for a bunch of different things in the body. And so when we're stressed out and we're burning up our B vitamins, we're going to have symptoms as a result of that 99.99% of the time. It's going to burn up our minerals as well. So if minerals are depleted, this is where, our hair starts falling out, our hair gets weaker and dull, our nails get weaker. It's structurally really important for us to have minerals in the body because that's what helps us build up and create, bone and hair and nails and teeth and all different systems in the body as well are important. Minerals are important for. It's also going to stress out our adrenals. Our adrenals are the organ in the body that is responsible for making our stress hormone, cortisol. But when it's constantly having to make cortisol all day long, over and over and over again, eventually the adrenals get tired and they can't keep up anymore. And so when the adrenals are tired and stressed out, they lean on the thyroid. And so when the thyroid is being leaned on, that's not going to be beneficial for you either. Problems with the adrenals being stressed out, that's going to be symptoms like low back pain. If you're lying down or you're sitting down and you stand up quickly, you may be dizzy. You may feel tired but wired. So that's where you're tired all day long. And then you try and go to bed, you get in bed at night, and your brain is awake and you can't fall asleep. It's frustrating. I've been there. It also could be low blood pressure, could be a symptom of a stressed out adrenals. Stressed out thyroid, so the adrenals get stressed, they lean on the thyroid. When the thyroid is stressed, symptoms of stressed thyroid is weight gain, which is quite common for women after 35, after 40. And stress often has an impact or has something to do with that. Losing hair is a symptom of a stressed out thyroid. A puffy face is an interesting one, a symptom of a stressed out thyroid. Have you seen a friend that you haven't seen in 6 months or so, and all of a sudden it's like their face looks really puffy? That's typically a sign that there's something going on with their thyroid that needs help. It could be puffy arms, legs, or hands as well. But just an overall puffiness of the body is often a sign of a stressed out thyroid. A stressed out thyroid can also cause hormone imbalance, PMS problems, low libido, and fertility problems as well. So as the adrenals get stressed, then the thyroid takes over. And when the thyroid needs help, because now it's stressed out as well, it pushes on our heart. And a stressed out heart is going to have symptoms as well. So this is going to be things like your heart racing. This could be heart palpitations. This could be irregular rhythms. It could be fatigue. It could be dizziness. It could be fainting. And ultimately, your heart is really important. If your heart gets stressed out, it has no one to lean on. So that's not going to be a good situation. So when it comes to ways to reduce stress, because we don't want the body to be so stressed that it can't handle it, because then you're going to have all kinds of symptoms. You're not going to be feeling great. Your mind is fuzzy. You're tired. You're not sleeping. You're gaining weight. It's not a great situation. So what can we do to reduce stress? Some easy things that you can do. You can go for a walk. That's one of my favorite ones. I have a dog. As I said, he's under the desk. He keeps kicking it. Going for a walk, with your family, with your pet, by yourself. Going for a walk is a really good way to bring the body back into the parasympathetic mode, so the rest and digest mode, where it's able to get out of fight or flight and actually reset. Playing in the garden is a good example. You'll get some grounding if you're doing that as well, because you're in the dirt. Play with your kids, play with your pets, do art, play music, cook a healthy meal, write in a journal, read a positive book. Has to be a positive book. Reading a negative book is not going to help here. Dance. That's a fun one too. Dance like no one's watching. If no one is watching, perfect. If someone is watching, dance anyway. If it's your kids, they'll probably join in with you depending on their age. And going out in nature are all really good ways that you can help your body reduce stress in your life. So hopefully this was beneficial for you. I don't know why it doesn't let me see comments when I'm live. Oh, there we go. So Amanda, oh, hey, Amanda's on here. In the trades, yeah, lots of repetitive movements in jobs for people. So if you have a job where, you're on the keyboard all day long, that's a really big one I see too. I used to work at Sport Check and I used to package things for online orders, and it was like the most repetitive thing ever. It was like grab the product, put it in the bag, put the sticker on it, put it in the box to ship out. And it was the same thing over and over and over again. And repetitive motions are going to have stress on the body. It's stress on the joints, it's stress on you physically, it's stress on you emotionally. So that's going to be challenging. So, if hopefully those tips were helpful on ways that you can help manage stress in your life, and it's really important to do, even if it's 5 minutes. If you start with 5 minutes and spend time writing in a journal when you get up in the morning, or go for a walk when you have a chance, 5 or 10 minutes, it's going to benefit you because taking the body out of that chronic fight or flight response throughout the day is going to shift the way your nervous system reacts and responds to things. So like I said, we test people I'm at Align Natural Health is the name of my practice. And we test people to figure out what's the cause, why they're having the symptoms they're having. So if you've been dealing with any symptoms that you're having a hard time resolving, this is often when holistic health is the best option for you. Because if we go to the doctor is considered emergency medicine, and they're amazing at emergencies. They're fantastic for that. But if you're dealing with something that's been chronic, you've been dealing it for a long time, that's often not going to be the best solution for you. The way that I help people is by testing them to figure out the cause. Why are you dealing with the things that you're dealing with? And then we don't just try and suppress the symptoms that you're dealing with. We try and treat the cause so that the problem ultimately will go away. The symptoms go away when you can treat the cause and give the support to the body that it needs to get back into balance. So if you're interested in learning more about quantum nutrition testing or working with me, drop a comment below, or you can send me a message as well. I'd be more than happy to help you and give you more information if that's what you're interested in. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Take a few deep breaths. Go for a walk. Dance like no one's watching. Play with your pets. Get out in nature, or whatever makes you happy. Have a wonderful day.